Kickstands stay up for hundreds of cyclists taking part in the annual Tour of America's Dairyland race every June across southeastern Wisconsin. This year is no exception. It's the 10th time bicycle enthusiasts have made the trek across our area. And as Michael Schlesinger explains, the event is so much more than a competition. It's really a community sport and spectacle.
It's a total body experience. You're having to exert a lot of your energy and power into the effort.
Biker and former racer John Lancer explains what biking is to him and what pedal power can actually become.
You have to know when you can be able to apply your power. If you burn your matches too soon, your race could be done before it's over.
The race he's talking about is the Tour of America's Dairyland. It's 11 communities in 11 days. Places in our own backyard, including Grafton, Waukesha, West Bend, Janesville, Port Washington, Shorewood, Bayview, Milwaukee's Downer Avenue, and Wauwatosa. Bicycle enthusiast Kevin Schultz describes the true essence of this annual experience, also known as Toad.
You can kind of, pick out a couple riders and kind of see where they position themselves and how it's changing dynamically throughout the race. Each lap, you may see them in a little bit different position. Just because they're at the front doesn't necessarily mean that that's where they're going to finish at the end of the race. It'll be a team dynamic involved as well. The announcers here at Toad are phenomenal for educating the crowd and let you know what's going on with the different teams and the team dynamic as well.
And, moving from town to town to town, how does that, what does that do for this race itself?
Well, it gets the racers into different communities. It gets, the spectators can have a different point of view, seeing the different race courses. Each race course will be individual in itself, from a spectator standpoint and from the racer standpoint.
What makes it more challenging in terms of the course?
Turns, hills, things like that.
And how do you handle it?
Well, it's again, each course has its own dynamic, so it's a matter of setting yourself up for to perform well.
I'm told watching this gathering, considered to be the largest competitive road cycling event of its kind in the nation, is just as thrilling as actually being in it.
They're going to be coming around about every 2.5 minutes. And when they come by, like I said, you really feel them. If you're standing at the edge of the course at the barricades, you just feel that wind come by, and it's very exhilarating.
All types of riders take part, including kids as young as 9 and those with special needs. And no matter the racer, the bike itself is a little different than what you might own.
The racer's bike is going to be made with much lighter, much stronger material compared to the type of bike that you might use to just ride around the city. So with this type of bike, power to weight ratio is everything. So you want the bike to be as light as possible.
It's very light. You can lift this with one hand. I couldn't believe it's like nothing.
Yeah, that's correct. These bikes are typically weighing right around 16 to 18 pounds. That's very typical.
So for the men's race, I know that you said 150 racers at one point. What's going through your mind? Are you worried about, obviously you have tunnel vision. Are you worried about maybe colliding with another biker, or you're just going straight ahead?
Absolutely. You're constantly worried about where you're positioned, who you're around, what's happening within the course. Are there obstacles that you need to be concerned about? As well as you're interested in the dynamics of the race, where you are, what's going to be happening. Are you setting yourself up for a sprint or any kind of particular aspect within the race?
This year, 42 states and 15 different countries are represented. So obviously, each designated spot is getting a lot of extra attention. It's estimated the series generates $2.4 million in visitor spending. This makes someone like Anna Jensen with the Downtown West Bend Association very happy.
It brings people from, different countries and different states to West Bend who might not have come here anyways. So it gets new eyes in our town, which what we do for the Downtown Association, draw spectators to our downtown. It's a small town, but with a big city feel. So you got all the amenities of a big city, but then people still know each other, and all the shops downtown are locally owned, and there's a lot going on downtown, from the events to shopping to exploring. It's a good time.
Many see Toad as the continuation of what started in the late 1960s, multi-day bike racing in Wisconsin. Many of the sport's top riders have raced here, including Greg LeMond and Eric Heiden. And for the current 1,000 participants, many with less name recognition, they realize the need to put in the effort as well to really go the distance.
The racers, they put a lot of time and effort into training, to get to a high caliber level. A lot of hours, a lot of saddle time, and then also, even in the off season, it's just not a 3-month sport. It's definitely a 12-month sport for the riders.
And how fast can you go? What's the speed with all your competitors around you?
Well, the Pro 1-2s, they're probably going to be going, probably averaging about 25 miles an hour, which when they come by, you're going to feel them as a spectator.